Hi, I wanted to record a little story for you all. My last story had quite a bit of vomit in it. This one has more, so if you're eating, you might want to watch this later. I need to give you a backstory. Back in October, Adeline had strep throat. The doctor put her on amoxicillin, and she asked if she knows our family that there are 7 of us, and we pass things around. You know, they're sharing suckers and finishing each other's food. So she asked if anyone else was having symptoms, and there were a few of us with sore throats. So she just covered us all with amoxicillin. She knows that I have a job working with the elderly, and I can't call in sick. I mean, I can, but it's just complicated. It's difficult to find people to cover shifts. So she's like, we'll just nip this in the bud, put us all on amoxicillin. A couple weeks after finishing that, Adeline had a sore throat again. And I could tell by looking in there it was swollen and red and just didn't look good. I called the doctor, and she said, well, the amoxicillin apparently didn't knock it out. We'll just give her something stronger. So they gave her cephalexin. So she did that and then finished that, and a couple weeks later she got it again. So, you know, we're thinking at this point we need to have the tonsil discussion. But the doctor couldn't see her for a couple days, and I needed her to get on something quickly. So I took her to Express Care. They confirmed that it was strep. They put her on Ceftonir. And we just kept getting stronger with the antibiotics. Before she even finished that, Aiden got a really sore throat, and it was like the weekend or something where I wasn't going to be able to get him into the doctor. So I took him to Express Care also, and they confirmed that it was strep and put him on Ceftonir too. So I think today was his last dose of that. Sunday, Ava vomited in her room, of course, because none of my kids make it to an appropriate spot. She was fine all day Monday, so I just thought, okay, some weird bug. A lot of you probably know what was happening. I was clueless. Thought it was some stomach bug. Monday night, Ashton's ready for bed. He's laying in bed with me, and he vomits on my comforter. It was quite a bit, and I'm like, I don't want to clean this off. I'm just gonna throw it away, because one of the kids at one point had taken scissors to it anyway, and I knew if I put it in the wash, it was just gonna come apart. So I was like, I've been wanting to get rid of it. Hey, here's my opportunity. Incidentally, that's also how we finally got rid of the carpet on the stairs a few years ago. Adeline was sick and vomited on the stairs, and was like, this is gross. I'm never gonna get the smell out. This carpet's 30 years old and nasty. I ripped it out that day. So vomit is a pretty good motivator for us. Anyway, so Ashton had puked. We put everyone to bed, and then at about 11, Ashton woke up crying, and Chris went in there, and I could tell from Chris's reaction that, yeah, Ashton had vomited. When Chris came out, got some cleaning stuff, went back in, Xander had vomited. And he's on the top bunk. There's a slide that goes down to the floor. It was a lot of vomit. He came into the bedroom, and he's like, puke is everywhere. I need your help. So I went and helped him clean up. We stripped the beds, and we should have like the plastic protector things. We get those, and then they get ripped up, so we have to replace them periodically. Well, we were currently we're between plastic mattress covers, so it's in the mattress, like seeping down in there. So they're not going to get back in their beds at that point. There, Xander's in the shower. He's so sick. He's just laying on the floor in the shower. Poor kid. We're cleaning everything up, and Ashton, who's now in his 3rd pair of pajamas for the night, he was sitting on the floor in the hallway, crisscross applesauce, leaning against the wall. His hands were folded like this in his lap, and he's just looking so sweet, but super pathetic. And he leans forward, and he vomits all over his feet. So we have to get him cleaned up into his 4th pair of pajamas for the night. And then we put all of the kids in Aiden's room, since that slide takes up a lot of floor space in their room. So we couldn't really put them on the floor in their own room. So put them in Aiden's room. They each have a bucket. We're rummaging around, making a lot of noise. Aiden wakes up and he's aware of what's going on. So there are 2 buckets for vomit in his room. I just want you to keep that in your mind for later. All right, they're asleep. We go to bed. I wake up at about 5 o'clock to the sound of splattering in the hallway. And I went in there into the hallway and it's Aiden. And I'm like, there are 2 buckets in your room. But he didn't remember. He was groggy. I get it. But he can't get to the toilet because there's puke in front of him and he still has to vomit more. And I'm like, just jump over it and get to the toilet. So by the time he gets over to the toilet, he's done puking. So I cleaned that up. I was feeling sick at that point. And not just from cleaning up all of this crap, but because like my stomach felt like I could vomit. So I got a trash can and went back to bed. And at about 8 o'clock, which is late for me to sleep, I woke up to the sound of more splattering outside my door. Xander had thrown up. Apparently he was downstairs, and rather than using the bathroom that's downstairs, he came up the steps and then threw up at the top of the stairs and then sat down. And I was like, do you still have to puke? He said, yeah. Yep, just a minute.
Okay.
So, where was I? Oh, so he's still to puke. I'm like, get to the bathroom. And he said, I can't. I'm like, get your butt up and get to the toilet. So he kind of slowly walks down the hall and then stops and then throws up in the hallway right in front of the door to the bathroom, and then walks through his vomit to get to the toilet. But he's done puking. Collapses in front of the toilet there. As I'm cleaning this up, Aiden comes out of his room and he's like, Xander, move, I have to puke. And I'm like, bucket, bucket, bucket. There are 2 buckets in your room. Bucket, bucket, bucket. So he manages to make it to the bucket. Well, then I noticed that there was a vomit mess in the girls' room that I didn't know about. So there's a book in it. Book goes in the trash, obviously. I need more cleaning supplies at this point, so I went downstairs and I was walking like underneath where the banister is, you know, coming underneath that, and vomit dripped on my head. Yeah, it's in my hair. So I got the cleaning supplies, cleaned up all of the vomit. I got into the shower, cleaned myself up, and then we were done with the puke. There was no more puking. So that was 8 o'clock. They didn't have fevers. So the next morning, I figured we can go ahead and send everyone to school. It's been 24 hours. I went to work and my throat was hurting, but I had an appointment already scheduled for Thursday. So I was like, I'll just let her know then. So when I went to my appointment after 2 days of going to work and then going to daycare and all that, she's like, yeah, you have strep throat. And she asked if anyone else was having symptoms, and I said, well, no, not of strep throat, but we did have some vomiting the other day. And she said, vomiting is a symptom of strep throat. I didn't know that. So that was what the vomiting was all about, and they were at school and daycare, and I was at work, and Chris was at work, and so I had to call my boss and be like, hey, I accidentally exposed a bunch of old people to strep throat, and tell the daycare provider, hey, sorry, I didn't know. So we did that. Yeah, go us. #winning. So the doctor put everyone on antibiotics again. And then this morning, Chris woke up and he's like, I have a sore throat, so I'm going to call a little bit and get him on antibiotics too. Oh. On an unrelated note, Ashton put milk in the crayons this morning. So anyway, that's the end of my story. Bye-bye.